What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. All right, y'all. So when we last left off with Miss Judge Christina Peterson, that video, which was a reaction video courtesy of Nate the lawyer, that basically dealt with everything that led up to her being removed from the bench. It was a real elaborate and detailed video. So again, major props to Nate the lawyer for his contribution. And if you haven't checked out that video yet, be sure you check that out before you get to part two. Now, part two, this is going to be not just a reaction video, but this one is going to come courtesy of Pink Book Lessons. Shout out to her. She does work in fair uses for the video, and go give her a follow if you haven't done so already. Now, initially, I did reach out to her, even though it was through the comment section, pretty much saying that I wanted to use one or two other videos that she did prior to the one that we're going to look at today, and seeing if that was going to be okay, or if it would have been best if I just would have stuck to the one that I'm going to react to now. But I didn't get a response. Like I said, that was probably my fault because I did it through the comment section instead of seeing if she had an email address that I could send to her or whatever. So it's all good. So I decided to go ahead and make it, into two parts, doing the first part courtesy of Nate the lawyer, and then doing part two courtesy of Pink Book Lessons video. So, so again, shout out to her. Fair uses for the video, fair usage. So I closed the video pretty much saying that there was going to be an update regarding what has been happening to her. And this video that we're going to take a look at today is going to go into that and then some. And then overall, I'm going to give my thoughts on the whole situation, specifically regarding what should happen to her in the position that she's in. So we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. I'm going to get my screen shared. And again, shout out to Pink Book Lessons, fair usage for the video, fair usage. Let's jump right into it.
African-American female and Democrat. Yes.
Any publications that you're aware of that ever acknowledge that fact?
I was never celebrated or congratulated.
Yeah. Why do you continue to make a fool of yourself every chance you get? That's the former reality show dating contestant from Oprah Winfrey's network turned Douglas County judge. A couple of years ago, she made history as the first Black female judge and the first Democrat in her position. I wish I can say she did a great job to show voters they made the right decision, but Judge Peterson, she's been doing everything to show she didn't deserve the seat at all. I've been covering the woman I named the City Girl Judge going back 3 years ago. She was the first City Girl Judge featured here. And 3 months ago, I brought you an update. The board completed a full investigation and hearing where they came to the conclusion that the City Girl Judge was too incompetent to serve and recommended her removal from the bench. Judge Peterson came around here in the comment section trying to get some attention under that video. She also took her case to the Georgia Supreme Court to avoid getting kicked off the bench. All I gotta say is getting arrested City Girl Judge is a horrible look if you're expecting the Supreme Court to side with you. Oh,
Look at that mugshot. I mean, y'all seen all the pictures, and like I said in the first part, she looks good. She looks the part. But this mugshot, that's not a good look. And just wait until y'all see what she's been accused of.
yeah, the City Girl Judge was down to the bar in Buckhead and got arrested after hitting a police officer in the head.
Did y'all hear that? Got arrested after hitting a police officer in the head. Now, again, why are you putting yourself in these positions? Now, we could always go through and say, okay, what led up to that? Well, in this case, quite frankly, it doesn't matter because you hit a police officer in the head. Okay, you're going to be held accountable for that no matter what position that you're in. But I mean, is this what she's degenerated into? I mean, all of the things that's going on in her life, you stoop to this instead of pretty much keeping a very low profile, not being out in public too much, just, basically showing the I guess the Georgia Supreme Court, I think, showing these people that you deserve to remain in your position. But they're going to see this, and I believe they're going to respond and react accordingly. You have to know that.
Wait a damn minute. Damn.
Wait, I know. You can't make this stuff up. Listen, y'all, when the alert came to my phone Thursday morning, it said something about an Atlanta Metro judge getting arrested. And I was like, which one of these hussies done got arrested in Atlanta? Opened it up, saw this. My first reaction was, I know this ain't who I think it is. It was none other than my favorite city girl judge, Christina Peterson. Now, Judge Christina, I know you like to come under my videos, but girl, don't get mad at me for talking about you. Nobody told your cuckoo for Cocoa Puff self to be down there to the bar beating on the popo. You're supposed to be a dignified woman. Down there acting like a straight up hood rat. We're going to get into this ridiculous story, but first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates.
Out with this. A controversial Douglas County judge who once put a bride behind bars landed in jail herself today. A probate court judge, Christina Peterson, booked into the Fulton County Jail. And Fox 5's IT reporter Johnny Edwards is here to tell us the details on this shocking development in a story that the Fox 5 team has been covering for several years now, Johnny.
That's right. Judge Peterson still serving out the last year of her term, apparently having a night out at the Red Martini Restaurant and Lounge in Buckhead. According to a police report, she was, quote, under the influence when she punched an Atlanta police officer in the head.
See, there it is. Look, I'm not judging people. And like I've said in recent videos, when you're dealing with grown-ass people, people are going to act how they're going to act. They're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to make their decisions. You know, they're going to do that. So under the influence, why am I not surprised? Because, I mean, this is not the first time and probably won't be the last time that we're hearing about somebody who is supposed to be in a distinguished position acting like this. And you would think that being in such position, you would conduct yourself in a different manner. But I guess everybody doesn't act that way, right? But I mean, under the influence and hitting a police officer in the head. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
After I had an attorney, it would have went to my attorney.
Probate court judges don't normally land in the spotlight, but allegations of bad behavior by Douglas County Judge Christina Peterson just keep piling up. Last year, a state oversight panel accused her of, quote, systemic incompetence after a lengthy judicial misconduct investigation, recommending her removal from the bench. Among the accusations, hauling a bride from Thailand to court, then tossing her in jail because she tried to correct a marriage certificate.
Did you go to this hearing with any idea that you may be going to jail?
No.
And like I said in part one, that was totally unnecessary, totally unneeded, and quite frankly, an abuse of power.
But now Judge Peterson faces the criminal justice system herself after her felony arrest early Thursday on allegations of punching an Atlanta police officer in the head. The incident happened at this Buckhead nightclub in the early morning hours Thursday. According to a police report, the probate judge appeared to be, quote, under the influence.
The city girl judge was getting drunk at the Red Martini, where she allegedly had way too many martinis and got to tussling with the police. I told you a long time ago this lady lost her mind, and not just down at the courthouse, but at the HOA in Douglas County too, in her neighborhood. She's been a tyrant, cutting up everywhere. Cutting up so bad, they had to drag this lady down to the nasty, filthy Fulton County Jail. And again, this is a horrible look because they're still trying to kick her out of office. Her case is with the Supreme Court right now, and they're supposed to be making a decision pretty soon. So yeah, this is probably the biggest L she can take right now in her failing political career.
A preliminary police report obtained by the Fox 5i team says an off-duty police officer working an extra job at Red Martini Restaurant and Lounge went to check out an altercation in the valet area, which didn't involve Peterson. There, the officer found a woman crying and tried to talk to her, and that's when things took a violent turn.
I want to know, who was the woman crying in the parking lot? Don't tell me the city girl judge was the woman down there crying in the parking lot. All I know, Miss Strong, independent, I can do whatever I want. Better not be down there in that parking lot crying in the middle of the cars out there with the owls. Don't went bat crazy, knocking the authorities in the head. I don't know. Maybe she thought she was more important than him because she's a judge and she saw him as just security or something. But I guess she messed around and found out, didn't she?
According to an arrest warrant, the off-duty officer struck in the head by Christina Peterson. It's just the latest in a long line of controversy surrounding the judge, soundly defeated in her Democratic primary last month by Douglasville attorney Valerie Vi.
So even though she's fighting to stay in office, it doesn't matter. The voters already voted her out. If she's able to somehow convince the Supreme Court to not remove her from the bench, this will still be her last year in office because she lost the Democratic primary.
And I know I'm gonna offer my thoughts at the end, but I don't see the Supreme Court in Georgia saving her position. I just don't.
At one point last year, the State Judicial Qualifications Commission had her facing 50 counts of violating the Judicial Code of Conduct, later reduced to just 20. The committee described her as, quote, spiteful and vainglorious.
Yeah, they got it. That's all.
Peterson, meanwhile, saying in a JQC hearing that the real tragedy is that she didn't get enough credit for making county history.
I'm the first African-American female and Democrat. Yes.
Any publications that you're aware of that ever acknowledge that fact?
I was never celebrated or congratulated.
I can't. All they want is a party every week and pats on the back all day to help out with their self-esteem. Ma'am, you weren't there to be celebrated. The people elected you to serve, to fulfill your duties just like any other public servant. It's not all about you. It's about doing your job, which you failed to do. I already told y'all how she was out there in the courthouse acting like the city girl mayor Tiffany Teflon Tahoe, a straight up plum fool.
Now, there's more to this morning's story. Police documents say that after striking the police officer, Judge Peterson wouldn't give officers her name, with officers fingerprinting her at the jail, but her name not coming back on file. The report says she told the officers to call an Officer Cawley, who told them she's a Douglas County judge. Before her arrest, Peterson had been expecting a decision this month from the Georgia Supreme Court on whether to remove her from office.
All right, we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. Johnny, thanks very much.
She was trying to get special treatment. Didn't want to tell the people her name, but got them to call another officer just for him to give out her name. I told y'all this woman was cuckoo a long time ago. Just silly. Let's go ahead and get the conversation.
All right, so we're gonna stop it right there. So again, shout out to People Lessons for that. Again, she does real good work. So yeah, man. I mean, this is a crazy story, you know, and the fall from grace, if you want to call it that, is swift and it's not pretty. To go from being in such a position like that to having a mugshot, and now your fate, you know, your judicial fate is going to be in the hands of the Georgia Supreme Court. And on that note, y'all, what I think is going to happen is the Georgia Supreme Court is going to pretty much they're going to make the decision to not allow her to finish out her term, because I mean, she's incompetent, you know, and why would anybody want to bring a case in front of her when you consider her past already? And, you know, that mugshot and hitting the police officer in the head and being in the nightclub under the influence. I mean, nobody wants a judge like that to be overseeing, you know, essential cases. So I think they're going to make that decision. And quite frankly, my additional thoughts is that they should make the decision to remove her, you know. And this is more than just a lesson being learned. You know, you don't need people like this in these positions. I don't care if she's black, white, Hispanic, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Muslim, it doesn't matter. You should not be in a position like this conducting yourself in such a manner. And if you're acting like this, you need to be held accountable for your actions. This doesn't have anything to do with being racist. It doesn't have anything to do with white supremacy. It doesn't have anything to do with you being discriminated against because you're a black woman. It has nothing to do with that. Everything that was mentioned in this video, just like everything that was mentioned in part 1 video by way of Nate the lawyer, she brought it on herself. Had you not acted the way that you did and instead conducted yourself like a judge should and worked for the people and acted in a judicial, disciplined manner, operating in integrity and decency and respect for that office, you wouldn't be in this position, quite frankly, you know. And quite frankly, isn't even a term for it. Simply put, period, throwing there, those are more than appropriate here. So like I said, that's what I think the Georgia Supreme Court is going to do, and that's what I think they should do. She does not need to be in this position. She does not need to be in any public position ever again, in or outside of Georgia. She just don't, you know. And I just hope for the life of me, please do not turn to OnlyFans. Just don't do it. Don't do anything that's going to bring further shame to your name. Just don't do it. Don't do it. So, you know, that's the thing, man. So overall, the bottom line here is that when you're in a position like this with such prestige, I mean, a judge, you know, state bench, you know, you should not be acting in this manner. You should not. You know, if you want to act that way, there's plenty other areas where you can do that at. But being inside of a courtroom, no, not acceptable. I don't care who you are. And last but not least, once again, this has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with white supremacy. It has nothing to do with oppression. And it damn sure doesn't have anything to do with her being discriminated against because she's a strong, independent Black woman who probably doesn't need a man either. And I'm going to leave it at that. So if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, people, take care of yourselves. And remember, the power of the mind is valuable. I'll see y'all next time.